Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for round number 14 of the Fast Action Racing Series, right here on the iCast Racing Network, presented or powered by iRacing. Tonight, we have some amazing action coming to you. Two races remain for the Fast Action Racing Series, and only 25 points separates your championship points leader, Dan Atkins, and second place of Lucas Edwards. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is going to be a phenomenal night, and it is not going to be a night that you're going to want to miss. Before we get down to the action on track, let's go ahead and take a look at our race information. Your race information for the FARS Neon Lights 101 right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway is presented by Logan's Removal Solutions. Some little tips that these drivers are going to need to keep in mind for today's event. They are racing on a 1.5-mile oval, and anything can happen. Anything at all. These guys are going to be racing for 101 laps for 151 and a half miles. Saving tires is an absolute must here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, as a couple of our drivers have learned very early on. They are complaining about their tires being cooked just only 15 laps into this event. And without any more hesitation, let's get down on track and take a look at some key drivers in this race. For one, you're going to have the 91 of Dan Atkins in that TWC number 91 out of Milford, Indiana. He is going to be the guy to watch tonight, as he's been very strong all season long, and that is why he is your points leader. And chasing him is going to be the number 87 of Lucas Edwards in that South Point Folgers Menards Toyota Supra. 25 points separate these two drivers. As you see, turn 2 is going to get these drivers tight out of 2, loose out of 4, so it's going to be very important for these drivers to keep their nose clean. Lucas Edwards out of Westerly, Rhode Island. And we have a brand newcomer with us today, Joseph Nelson, in that number 54 Spicy Hellman's Chevrolet. Joseph Nelson making his debut here with the Fast Action Racing Series. So we are excited to have him in joining us today. As we see, Lucas Edwards gets loose out of 4, but he keeps it straight. Jordan Martin, he's going to be in that iTool Company Milwaukee IEC sponsored Ford Mustang, as he gets up into the wall out of turn number 4. Jordan Martin, he is putting on an incredible league right here on iRacing, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys would like to find us, just look up Fast Action Racing Series right on the leagues tab on the iRacing UI. If you do not have iRacing at all, don't worry, we can get you covered. you just head over to iRacing.com and join. Usually, 99% of the time, they have a really good deal for newcomers. Normally, like 3 months for like half the price or something like that. So, like 15 bucks. I would definitely suggest going and taking advantage of that if you guys have not done so yet. As you see, Jordan Morgan now exiting pits here once again. Jake Lucas in that number 71 Wrangler jeans machine, making his third start here with the Fast Action Racing Series. And somebody that's not out on track yet is we have Dakota LaRue in that number 88 Cletus sponsored Toyota Camry for Grease Monkey Motorsports. So let's go ahead and get back to the action out here on track as we have 8 minutes and 55 seconds remaining. Let's go ahead and get a quick word with our second place in standings of Lucas Edwards. Lucas Edwards, this is Mike up in the booth. Do you got a copy?
I do.
Lucas, 2 races remain in the championship standings, or for the championship, I should say, for this season. Right now, you're sitting on top of the practice standings with a 30.9. How are you feeling about tonight?
Oh, real worried, honestly. I'm quick, but I do not have the stability yet. I have to see what I can do in the rest of this practice to keep the car underneath me.
Absolutely. So far, we are seeing looseness all around this speedway. Do you believe that you have what it takes to outrun Dan Atkins tonight and score another victory?
I sure hope so, but that new guy is quick and very stable, so I think he might be the one that's that threat for the win tonight. But as for Dan, I've seen him have a bit of problems too, so I'm hopeful that I can keep up with him and finish ahead of him once again.
Absolutely. Alrighty, Lucas. Good luck from us up here with the iCast Racing Network. Let me go ahead and get you up so you can finish out this practice.
All right, thank
Ladies and gentlemen, your points leader, Dan Atkins, in the number 91. There it is. The number 91 TMS or TMC. Look, what is that, Dan? TMS? Hey, Dan. Y'all, I think I screwed that all up, and now he's just coasting around the speedway. I am going to go ahead and throw Dan back up into the practice session. He's more than welcome to come back down and rejoin us if he would like. We have 6 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. Right here in the practice session. As you see just a couple drivers out here on track. We have Jacob Van in that number 1 out of Wesley Chapel, Florida, in that beautiful Penske number 1 machine. He is coming out here trying to put down a decent time. He is actually currently about 6 seconds off pace, so we're going to have to really watch and make sure to see if he can pick up that speed as he goes through the corners here. Right now, he's sitting with a 37.75. let's take a look here with Dakota LaRue and that number 88 Grease Monkey Motorsports Toyota Supra. We currently have 7 drivers here registered for the race. 7 of them has put down practice laps with 4.5 minutes remaining here for your FARS Neon Lights 101 right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We are excited to see these Xfinity cars be shining on this speedway. Let's go ahead and make a couple minor adjustments here as I try to get sounds and everything just right for you guys here today. As you guys have seen, we do have a new driver on top, and it's going to be Joseph Nelson in that number 54 Spicy Hellman's Mayonnaise sponsored Chevrolet. Joseph making his debut here with FARS, so we are excited to see what Joseph can do right here. Maybe we will end up talking with him a little bit later on tonight at the conclusion of this race. But that is still to be remain to be seen. We have just about 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in this event for this practice session before we do switch over to qualifying, as our 7 competitors will fight for that top spot. And looking at when Joseph Nelson gets loose through turns 4, he's able to keep it straight. As your points leader Dan Atkins has been able, Dan Atkins on top of the charts now in that number 91 machine with a 30.73. So things are starting to turn around for Dan Atkins here late in this practice session. It looks like we have another driver who has got his hauler here in the last couple minutes of practice here of the number 14 of Kean Fry out of Jasper, Missouri. So Kean, welcome into the server, buddy. We are excited to get you out on track and see what you can do out here today. Sorry, that was awesome. I cut over to that camera just in time. Already a minute and 10 seconds remaining in this session. Dan Atkins on top of the charts. Joseph Nelson trying to see if he can better that time of a 30.86. As he gets a loose once again, Lucas Edwards comes back out. With just 25 seconds remaining here in the practice session before we transfer over into our race session, or our qualifying session. 10 seconds here. So this will be the final lap for our drivers, as we have Lucas Edwards coming through the middles of 1 and 2. As time has expired, we are going to go ahead and come high above the speedway, looking down above this beautiful circuit of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. These drivers will have 9 minutes and 40 seconds here as our first set of drivers will take to the track. And of course, one of the first ones out is going to be a fan favorite of Lucas Edwards. And let's see what these guys can do as they begin to march their way around this racetrack. You know, something that we have not done as of yet was let's ride on board with Lucas Edwards for his first time lap as he gets a little bit loose here coming through 3 and 4. I believe these drivers are going to be dealing with a very loose race car as you see Edwards come around to put down a 31.33 for his first lap. This fast racetrack is going to get these drivers as Lucas has to let up and then he will spin it through the infield and back it down. Let's take a look at your newcomer of Joseph Nelson. He put down a quick time of a 31.15 as he's looking to better his lap time out of turn number 4 and coming to the start finish line. And he betters it to a 31.07. And now Dan Adkins comes down the back straightaway here. And his, I believe what will be his final attempt as Dakota LaRue puts down a quick time of a 31.04. And here comes Atkins crosses the finish line. He will not better his time this time by. That will end it for him. Dakota LaRue coming through turns 3 and 4 to come down the front stretch here. See if he can better his time of a 31.04. He does. He gets down to a 39.9, which I believe is the fastest that we have seen all day. And Lucas Edwards back on top with a 30.92. So Edwards has some coffee brewing up in that race car as well. I believe him and Keith Nelson Jr. with the Tube Frame Twister Series, they should get together, have some coffee, talk about how fast they are. Kean Fry in that number 14 Mobile One Home Depot Ford Mustang will come down and put down a lap. No, that he will take the green flag at that time. So this is going to be his first flying lap. As he fights that wheel, as you guys see, with those white gloves in that number 14 machine. And he's going to put a lap down of a 31.55. So that will drop him 8 on track. And we have another newcomer. We've got Harrison Chandler in that number 29 Ford Mustang machine. Let's see if we can get a sneak peek of who his sponsor is right here. Sadly, I'm unable to tell. So this is what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and it's an autism awareness sponsored Ford Mustang, which is pretty cool. Kian Fry continuing to try to better his time out of turn number 4 to finish out and get the checkered flag, and he was able to better it and move from 8th up to 7th in the standings with a 31.37. Let's jump back out here to Harrison Chandler in that autism awareness number 29 Ford Mustang, making his Fast Action Racing Series debut with just 2 races remaining. Next week we will head to Miami, Homestead, Miami, for the season finale of the Fast Action Racing Series Season 1, right here on the Fast Action Racing Series. I am hoping that Fast Action Racing Series and iCast Racing Network can work out a deal for next season as well to continue to bring this amazing series to YouTube and Twitch right here for these viewers as Chandler comes out of turn number 4 across the start finish line, and he will put down a lap time of a 31.22 as he comes down the back straightaway for the final time with just under 3 minutes remaining. As you see him struggling with that wheel, that's not going to do him any favors as he taps the wall, and that will not count for a lap. So that will put Harrison Chandler P6 on the grid in his first attempt here with the Fast Action Racing Series. So, one last time before we do get underway today, ladies and gentlemen, let's take one more look at your race info. These guys are going to go for 101 laps, which is 151.5 miles around this 1.52 mile track. And saving tires here is going to be a huge must. And with these race cars slipping and sliding the way they have been so far all evening, it's going to be interesting to see who can save those tires and who cannot. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we have just a couple more moments here. As you guys can see, this is going to be your starting lineup that you see right there with just 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining in this qualifying session. As we continue to fly high above Las Vegas Motor Speedway here in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is a very phenomenal racetrack. Multi-grooves, loose, it can go tight. You're going to have a lot of luck to win here at Las Vegas tonight, especially seeing the way these cars were slipping and sliding out of turn 4, especially here in this qualifying session alone. So it's going to be extremely exciting to see what these drivers can do. As looks like time will go ahead and expire with just 10 seconds left on the clock. You guys take a look at that beautiful road course on the inside of this track. Alrighties, ladies and gentlemen, our drivers are going to start getting lined up down on the front stretch. And while they do that, let's go ahead and take a look at your starting grid presented by Logan's Removal Solutions. On the pole is your second place in the points. It's going to be the number 87 of Lucas Edwards. Dakota LaRue will in the number 88 Grease Monkey Motorsports. Toyota will start onto his outside. Row number 2, you're going to see newcomer Joseph Nelson putting down some fast laps in that number 54 Hellman's, Spicy Hellman's mayonnaise machine. Your points leader will start in P number 4 on the outside of row number 2, that number 91 machine. Jordan Martin and that iTools number 13 machine will start on the inside of row number 3. And to his outside is going to be another newcomer, Harrison Chandler, in that number 29 autism awareness machine. Lucas in that number 71 Wrangler will start on the inside of row number 4, and Kian Fry in that number 14 Office Depot Mobile 1 machine to his outside. And Jacob Van in that number 1 Penske machine will round out your field. Let's go ahead and head back to the front as these drivers are getting ready to take off for the very first time tonight. As they're going to start with lap number 1 after our awesome pace car driver Fred pulls down off the track. And here comes Fred. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get round number 14 underway of the Fast Action Racing Series. The Neon Lights 101 right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And we are green flag. All these drivers got a really good start this time. No one really giving an inch on this start. I think this is one of the best starts that we have seen here in the Fast Action Racing Series, as they're going 3 wide already back there for that 5th spot. Jacob Van in that number 1 machine, he wanted that spot, and so he took it 3 wide as we have contact, and the 13's going for a ride, but he is able to keep it straight. Jordan Martin had his hands absolutely full coming out of turn number 4. Let's take a look at that as he got help just a little bit there. What a phenomenal save there by that number 13 machine. As you see these drivers bouncing off the wall in turn 4, we are going to see that all night here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to want to keep our eyes on that as we catch up here with Dan Atkins in that number 91 machine. He is currently running in that number 3 spot, but here, Harrison Chandler trying to make a move to the outside of Jacob Van for that 4th spot, but he is unable to do that as Joseph Nelson in that number 54 machine comes to his inside, and he makes a move on Harrison Chandler here on the front straightaway. Watch these cars bounce through turns 1 and 2 here. This track is not smooth whatsoever. There's a lot of bumps as you see these cars bounce up and down. And let's go ahead and take a look at the back end, just so you guys could see Jacob Van just watch the front of that number 54 just bounce as they come through these corners here through turns 3 and 4. Just watch these cars bounce. As we continue to watch Jacob Van out of West Chapel, Florida, as he's trying to hold off newcomer Joseph Nelson for that number 4 spot. As of right now, things have gotten themselves pretty much laid out as Lucas Edwards is currently out front. Let's go ahead and take a look here at Watermelon Lucas. As you see that he's rocking that Folgers South Point Toyota Supra. See, I think Lucas Edwards has been watching the iCast Racing Network right here on YouTube and Twitch, as he's been watching Keith Nelson Jr. with the Tube Frame Twister Street Stock Series, as he's been very dominant on every road course that we have put them on in the street stocks of iRacing. That series is always fun to watch, especially as Keith Nelson does not start at the front. He always works his way up, and out of 7 races, he is 6-1. Edwards comes out to start lap at number 10. Let's go ahead and start making our way through the field a little bit here. We're going to the room, your second place starter for this event. He will still just chillax right here in the 2nd spot. And Dan Atkins, your points leader out of Milford, Indiana, still tracking him down to try to get around Dakota. Or he could also be saving his tires here for the long run. Jacob Van in that number 1 Penske Chevrolet. So far, he is our biggest mover in the race. He has gained 5 spots this race so far in the last 10 laps. Especially with that 3 wide move he made very early on. Your first newcomer, Joseph Nelson Jr., he has dropped 2 positions since the start, but he is just holding on, learning, and just chillaxing right behind Jacob Van, newcomer, as well Harrison Chandler, that number 29, Autism Awareness Ford Mustang. He is also learning this car and seeing how this car is running. Then you have Jake Lucas in that number 71, as we have racing happening back here between Kean Fry and the 13 of Jordan Martin. Jordan Martin with that incredible save on lap 2, I believe it was, is starting to reel his way back towards the front of this field, as he is now putting a pass here on Kean Fry, and he will complete that pass heading down to turn number 1. And now he will put his eyes on to Jake Lucas as Kian Fry comes back to the inside of Jordan Martin. He's not going to let that position go so easily as these guys are battling out. And it looks like right now Jordan Martin might have the edge, but they are still side by side before that number 8 spot. These guys duking it out for the last place in the field, which is absolutely okay. And what a crossover by Jordan Martin, but unable to make it stick as he slid right out of turn number 2. He's going to have to take a quick breath and find a new approach to make his way around Kian Fry in that number 14 Mobile 1 off the steeple for that was incredible. Here he comes once again trying to make it stick on the middle to the high side of the racetrack, but he is not able to make a move. But here comes Harrison Chandler making a move on Jake Lucas in that number 71, and he will overtake for that number 6 spot as your rest of your field is pretty much single file for the time being. Let's go ahead and catch up with your points leader, Dan Atkins, as he has finally caught the back end of that number 88 machine of Dakota LaRue. He is wanting to get around Dakota LaRue as quick as he can so that he can start chasing down that race leader of the number 87 of Lucas Edwards. And here comes Atkins looking to the outside, unable to complete it here in the trial. So he's going to try to run the middle, go to the inside, and he's going to try to make a move here out of turn number 2, and he's looking low, but decides better of it, and he will stay right behind the LaRue as they dive down to turn number 3. Atkins climbs the banking here in turn number 3 and 4. He's got him run on the outside, unable to make it stick, and Dakota LaRue just continues to outbeat him out of the corners, and he will hold on to that second place momentarily. But Dan Atkins is putting a lot of pressure as you see Dakota LaRue start slipping and sliding through these corners because of the amount of pressure that Atkins is putting on LaRue. Now Dakota LaRue, he is your third person in the point standings, so he's also looking to better his points towards Dan Atkins. So if he can keep Dan Atkins in his rearview mirror, he can close the gap on Dan Atkins heading into Homestead next week. As we come out of turn number 2, and they are now side by side. Dan Atkins looking to make it stick this time around the outside, and turns 3 and 4. He very well might just do it out of here, turn number 4, and they are side by side, heading down the front straightaway. And as of right now, Dakota LaRue will hold on to that spot. But Dan Atkins, he is not giving up on that outside just yet. As Dan Atkins gets loose right there and turns 1 and 2. Let's go back and take a look at here for this battle for the 4th spot between Jacob Van and Joseph Nelson. As Nelson is looking to the inside of Van, wanting to take over that number 4 spot. Here they come out of the turn number 2 side by side, and Joseph Nelson will complete that pass out of turn number 2. But here comes Jacob Van, not giving up just yet, as he's trying to make a move back onto the outside, but he's just unable to make it stick. Look how much of those cars moved here in the trial-able alone. That just shows how loose these cars are. As Jacob gets loose here once again through turns 1 and 2. He's going to need to be a little bit more easy on that throttle if he's going to want to get back to the back bumper of Joseph Nelson, that number 54 Alpha's machine. Let's fall back a little bit here to Kean Fry, Jake Lucas, Harrison Chandler, and Jordan Martin. These drivers all are just hanging out together back here, trying to make something happen, as they are just going to sit here and run single file for the time being, as looks like the number 14 of Kean Fry is having some radio technical difficulties. We are hearing he has trouble hearing his spotter at the moment. So interference with his radio for the time being, but it seems like it has sorted itself out. Let's catch back up here to Lucas Edwards in that South Point Folgers Toyota Supra as he exits turn number 4 to begin lap 25 of this 101 lap race. Things have been extremely smooth sailing for Lucas Edwards out of Westerly, Rhode Island. I did speak with Lucas just a little bit in practice, and he started to have wheel issues. He was starting to have wheel issues, and he was able to hopefully get it sorted out so that he can come out and hopefully put on a great finish here today. Looks like we have issues here with Jacob Van. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened with him coming out of turn 4. He gets loose, smacks into the outside wall, and he will drop all the way back towards the end of the field. Joseph Nelson in that number 50 machine. He's already come down pit road for 4 fresh Goodyear Eagle tires. As we come back up here and catch up with Jake Lucas in that number 71 machine, as he's trying to go to the outside of newcomer Harrison Chandler, but he's unable to get that run to the outside that he is looking for. Again, this track is such a fast, wide, sweeping track. There really is no lane that will have that true momentum coming out. So in order to get that momentum here on this track, you're going to have to keep your momentum up. But at the same time, you don't want to tear up your tires and lose all that time to the cars in front of you, as you see Harrison Chandler bounce off the turn 2 wall there just a little bit. Harrison Chandler getting loose out of turn number 4 once again. It looks like all of our drivers are having issues right now to keep those cars facing straight, except our race leader of Lucas Edwards. I haven't really seen him slip or slide much since the start of this green flag, and I know that he was struggling hard in practice and a little bit in qualifying. So hopefully the team of that number 87 machine has helped make that better. As it looks like Jake Lucas got a little bit loose there out of turn number 2. As he slides a little bit high. And they continue to run single file here for the moment. Jacob, he has come down pit road himself to get 4 fresh Goodyear tires on that machine. So with these drivers starting to get new tires on their machines, to be very interesting to see how long the leaders are going to stay out. We are going to sit here and take a look at the number 54 machine coming up on Jordan Martin and look at the speed difference those fresh tires make as he just blows by Jordan Martin like it was no worries whatsoever. But Joseph wants to, he's going to want to save those tires at the same time so that when the rest of the field starts to come in, he's not going to get swallowed up by your fresh tires of the ones that pit later than himself and Jacob both. Let's dive back a little bit here through the field. As you see, that number 54 of Joseph Nelson continued to on-lap himself from most of these drivers as Ian Fry gets a little bit loose there. The next one on the chopping block for that number 54 is going to be the 29 of Harrison Chandler, and he will succeed with that with no problem whatsoever. As of right now, everything is going to plan here for Lucas Edwards in that number 87 Folger South Point Toyota Supra. But Dakota LaRue's got a little bit loose there out of turn number 2, and he's going to lose a little bit of that time that he has gained on your race leader. Atkins is now just about 3 seconds back to your race leader as they come to complete lap number 36. These drivers are starting to relax a little bit more, and Joseph, he is starting to make his way around. Let's just take a look here and just watch the action here for just a couple of laps. Jake Lucas in that number 71 Wrangler Chevrolet. He is now bringing his car down to pit road to get service as he bounces off the wall and he stops. Wow. Hopefully that did not cause too much damage there for Jake Lucas getting into his pit stop. And Jake Lucas will now pull out and rejoin the field as we see the 54 of Joseph Nelson getting his lap back. As we see Dakota LaRue now putting pressure on the 87. He's wanting to lead here at Las Vegas, and he'll make the run to the inside, heading down into turn number 1. And your first lead change of the day goes to Dakota LaRue. But here comes Lucas Edwards to the outside, and Edwards gets into the wall just a little bit, and that will have to settle Lucas Edwards into that second spot. And Dakota LaRue, he will start to pull away ever so slowly. Dakota LaRue, he's looking to make a statement here tonight as well, as he is your third place. And we have a crash with Jake Lucas. Let's come back and take a look and see what happened to Jake Lucas in that number 71 machine. Coming out of turn number 2, hard contact to the outside wall. And he will spin it around, and he will come to a stop on the back straightaway. Jake Lucas, unfortunately, had major issues coming out of turn number 2. We are just waiting to see what's going to happen with Jake Lucas in that number 71. If he's going to be able to bring that machine back out on track or not. Dakota LaRue now in charge of the Neon Lights 101 right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Things are starting to get intense. On top of your point standings. Remember, every lap, for one lap you lead, you will get 1 bonus point. For leading the most laps, you will get another set of bonus points. And even if you have the fastest lap, that will give you even more bonus points. So ultimately it's going to be very imperative that you do come in and try to get that fastest lap, which currently is held by Lucas Edwards, as Dan Atkins is making an attempt to pass Lucas Edwards for that number 2 spot, and he's got Harrison Chandler right on him. I think Lucas Edwards burned up his tires because this field is now starting to catch him, and he is starting to fall back. He has gone from first to fourth here as we see Harrison Chandler deciding to bring it on down to pit road. This is a big for Lucas Edwards in that number 87 Folgers South Point Toyota. He's did not want to see that, as Dakota LaRue continues to pull up to 3 seconds on him since he took over just a few laps ago. And Dan Atkins himself is now starting to pull away from Lucas Edwards. This could be massive as we start lap 50 of this event. As you see, Atkins gets loose with just a little bit over 2 seconds. Now separate your race leader of Dakota LaRue and that number 88 machine, and your points leader, Dan Atkins. Lucas Edwards is making his way down onto pit road now to get service on his number 87 machine. So now the question is going to remain, how long will Dan and Dakota wait to bring in their machines? As we sit here and continue to watch Dakota LaRue make his way around here with 50 laps remaining in this. Here comes Dakota LaRue into the pits. And that will hand over the race lead to your points leader, Dan Atkins, who will secure a race point here for leading one lap. And Dan Atkins will blow it down. Oh, he almost had the same issues like he had last week at Darlington, where he missed his pit stop, or he missed the pits altogether, but he was able to get it woed back down and get down onto pit road without losing too much time. So that will bring the race lead over here to Kean Fry in the number 14 Office Depot Mobile 1 machine as he comes through turns 3 and 4, and it looks like he will stay out for another lap. And here comes Kean Fry down pit road, and he'll turn over the lead to Jordan Martin in that number 13 machine. And he's looking to lead one lap here today as well. All these points are going to add up at the end of the day. So if you can take the opportunity and lead a lap here in Las Vegas, then that's all going to carry over into the final race at Homestead. And that is where it's really going to boil down to. And Jordan Martin, he will stay out another lap here. And here comes your race leader, Jordan Martin, down pit road. And that is going to hand the race lead over to the number 54 of Joseph Nelson in that Spicy Hellman's Chevrolet. Joseph Nelson, he was one of the first drivers to come down pit road. So that's how he was able to take over the race lead. And that will also put the second newcomer of the night, Harrison Chandler, in that number 29 autism awareness Ford Mustang. He's going to bring himself up here into that second spot. And then right behind him, Dan Atkins in that third spot. The 29 passing that number 13 of Jordan Martin, who I believe might have had some issues that last pit stop. As you see, they can then continue to change out that spot. Dakota LaRue. Dakota LaRue head down into turns number 1 and 2 here once again. Dan Atkins. Oh, hard contact for Lucas Edwards out of turn number 2. That's going to leave a mark on that number 87 Folgers machine. But is that going to damage his car enough where he will lose, you know, speed and grip on that number 87 Supra? Your points leaders racing 4th and 5th here today at Las Vegas. And Edwards was able to get right back to that back bumper of Dan Atkins as they dive down into turn number 3 once again. They are going to begin lap number 63 of 101 laps here today. As we take a look here, Lucas Edwards looking to the inside. He gets a little bit loose and he will go side by side with Dan Atkins down the back straightaway as they dive down into turn number 3. Dan Atkins, he will hold onto that position for the time being as Lucas Edwards is trying to find a way around Dan Atkins, because the more spots he has on Dan, the better. But Dan wants to keep Lucas behind him, because if Lucas is behind him, he can't gain spots on Dan at all. But Lucas is putting a lot of pressure now on that back bumper of that Chevrolet, as Atkins slips up the track a little bit, and here comes Edwards once again. Nice and steady here. We continue to watch the action right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Lucas Edwards, Dan Atkins running 4th and 5th. And let's come back up here and meet up with our newcomer, Joseph Nelson, in that number 54 Spicy Hellman's Mayonnaise sponsored Chevrolet, as he is sitting at just a little bit over 2.5 seconds on second place, and newcomer as well, Harrison Chandler. These two newcomers are putting on a show for you guys today here with the Fast Action Racing Series right here on the iCast Racing Network. Can a newcomer come in and steal the show, or will one of your top 3 points leaders decide that it's not their times to shine, that they need to keep focusing on those point standings? we have confirmation that Jake Lucas in that number 71 machine has loaded his car up onto the hauler for the evening. So he will finish in that 9th spot as we continue to watch Harrison Chandler bring that decibit down from 2 seconds all the way to just about 0.6 seconds. So we might very well see a lead change here heading into lap 70. These, like I said, these two newcomers of Joseph Nelson and Harrison Chandler. Oh, Nelson is coming back down into the pits for hopefully his final pit stop of the night, and that will hand over the race lead to newcomer Harrison Chandler and that autism awareness Ford Mustang. But he should not look too far back behind him, because here comes Dakota LaRue in that number 88 Toyota Camry. Dakota LaRue, he is looking to make it happen here once again, and he is fighting, and he can smell that second victory here in Fast Action Racing Series as they come through turns 1 and 2 to come down this back straightaway. The gap has gone even smaller here for Dakota LaRue as he continues to chase down your race leader of Harrison Chandler. As Dakota LaRue does get closer, you do not want to use up all your tires, LaRue. You have to save some of that here for the remaining part of this race. And it does look like a lot of these drivers are going to do a 2 pit stop cycle for this event, as they have gone the last 72, coming up on 73 laps caution free. So far we have gone flag to flag, and here comes Dakota LaRue making that pressure now on Harrison Chandler, as Dakota LaRue gets far down on the apron to try to gain just a little extra time there, as he looks to the outside in turns 1 and 2 of the number 29, unable to get the momentum out there, and he will suck right behind the 29 as 29 bounces off the wall. And here comes Dakota LaRue to his inside through 3 and 4, looking to take that spot away from Harrison Chandler as they come side by side back on the front straightaway to end lap 73. And your race leader, Harrison Chandler, will continue to hold on to that top spot as they dive down into turn number 1 once again. Harrison Chandler holding off Dakota LaRue the best he can. Dakota LaRue has been strong this season, but after Eldora, his season has been very up and down as they come side by side once again at turn number 4. And Dakota LaRue looking to make it stick this time as they head down into turn number 1, and he is still unable to make it work as he gets right on the back bumper of your race leader Chandler in that number 29 machine. Coming down the back straightaway, a lot of pressure Chandler has on his back bumper coming from Dakota LaRue. And as these two drivers continue to fight as hard as can be, Dan Atkins is going to start to reel these guys in as they come through turns 1 and 2 once again. Let's take a look outside the back end of Harrison Chandler, looking back at the number 88 of Dakota LaRue. A lot of good racing going on right now, with coming up here just 25 laps remaining in the Neon Lights 101 right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And we are obviously more than 3/4 of the way done in this event. And a slight tap from Dakota LaRue to Harrison Chandler. And that was not enough to push Chandler off the line, and Chandler will hold on to that top spot as Dakota LaRue makes a look to the inside once again through NASCAR 3 and 4 and back onto the front straightaway. Harrison Chandler will continue to hold that momentum after completing 24 laps remaining this time by. If things are getting settled down, Dakota LaRue losing just a little bit of time there, but I think he's letting his tires cool off just a little bit here as they come back into NASCAR 3 and 4. And they have started to pull away from third place, and Adkins, who is now a little bit over 3.5 seconds back from these two race leaders. It's Harrison Chandler, Dakota LaRue still going to come down for one more stop here in this event. Or are they going to try to go the rest of the way? It is all about the gambles here in Las Vegas, and we are in the mix to see that again right here with the Fast Action Racing Series, as Dakota LaRue looks around the outside but decides to go ahead and bring it back down to the inside here, as you see that number 54, and here comes Dakota LaRue once again to the inside of the number 29 of Chandler. Chandler holding strong on that outside, not giving LaRue much room. But here comes that number 54 up Nelson on those fresh Goodyear tires, as LaRue makes a slide a little bit through turns 1 and 2, but the 29 of Harrison Chandler keeping it nice and stuck around the outside, and it looks like they are going to try to go 3 wide with this lap down car as they exit turn number 4. 3 wide now as they decide better of it, and Dakota LaRue will go ahead and settle back down behind that number 54 lap car of Joseph Nelson, as Joseph climbs the banking in turns 1 and 2. 1 lap down car now separates your 2 race leaders here, as the number 54 gets around the race leaders just fine. They got very sketchy there as the 29 gets a little bit loose out of turn number 4, but he keeps it straight as we have 19 laps remaining in this event. Dakota LaRue must be thinking, what do I got to do to get around this newcomer of Harrison Chandler in that number 29 machine? Dakota LaRue has not seen victory lane since the first race of the season, and he's gotten close on 3 different occasions. And so I know for a fact that he is hungry for a race win right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And it's going to be all about what happens here if these guys decide to make their final pit stop, as these 2 drivers are now at to just about a 4-second advantage on third place of Dan Adkins, and then less than 1 second, less than a tenth of a second back to 4th place and 2nd place runner in point savings, Lucas Edwards, in that number 87 machine, as we continue to watch Dakota LaRue try to figure out how he's going to get around the number 29 of Harrison Chandler as he makes a move. And Chandler, I couldn't tell if he blocked or he got loose there coming out of the corner, but now they both climb the banking in turn number 3, and Dakota LaRue will get a little bit of a run here out of turn 4 as they come to the start-finish line. And Dakota LaRue's going to possibly look to the outside as he tries to give another little love tap to the 29 of Harrison Chandler, saying, hey, I did not really quite like that block that you gave me there, as the 29 continues to try to block LaRue from getting around to the inside, as they now run side by side through turns 3 3 and 4 back to the front straightaway. And it looks like this time by is still going to be Chandler in the lead as LaRue falls back behind Chandler to try to make something happen here in the final 15 laps of this race. Dakota LaRue sideways, but used it to his advantage to try to get a run on the inside as he delivers another little love tap to Chandler saying, hey, I'm still here and I don't like the way you're racing. So let's wait and find out, see what happens here. This battle here for first continues to brew. We still have a battle for third brewing back behind these guys. Very quick moment, we're going to jump back here to your point leaders of Dan Atkins in that number 91 machine and the number 87 of Lucas Edwards. These are your points. And of course, as soon as we switch over, there is a run for the race lead. Dakota LaRue looking on the inside of Harrison Chandler as they come back down the back straightaway. Harrison climbs up to baking and Dakota holds it to the inside. Who is going to have a better run out of the corner? Right now they're still side by side as they cross the start finish line. Oh, Dakota LaRue bounced off that grass on the inside, slowing him down a little bit, allowing Harrison to get a couple car lengths out in front. And Dakota LaRue, he is not done as he decides to go ahead and start reeling that number 29 machine back in as they dive down into turn number 3. 11 laps to go this time by. Harrison Chandler making his debut with the Fast Action Racing Series. Dakota LaRue, your Daytona winner from the first race of the season, looking to get his second career win here with Fast Action Racing Series on iRacing. But so far, the man in charge has been that number 29, Harrison Chandler, with that autism awareness Ford Mustang. Here comes a Jacob Van in that number 1 machine, trying to get his lap back as he makes it to the inside of Dakota LaRue with no issues. And Dakota LaRue will drop down back behind the 1 machine, and he will try to follow the 1 around the 29 machine, but I don't think he is close enough to make it work. So he will continue to stay right behind Harrison Chandler as they come out of turn number 4 and get the 9 laps to go. Things are probably going to start getting tight between these drivers on points. It is going to start getting tight here on gas. It's going to start getting tight here on tires. Who is going to last? 5 seconds now separate second place and third place. Dan Atkins and Lucas Edwards are back in third and fourth. Newcomer Harrison Chandler out front. And Dakota LaRue looking for that second win of the season. Is he going to work his butt off and get around the newcomer, or is the newcomer going to shut out the Fast Action Racing Series veterans and say there's a new kid on the block? Dakota LaRue has got to be thinking, what do I have to do to get around this number 29 machine, this newcomer rookie, as he's tried to go to the high side, low side. He's tried to go to the middle. He's tried tapping the 29 out of the way. The 29 of Harrison Chandler is not giving up that spot as they come through the front straightaway once again. Less than about 10, 20 feet now separate these two drivers as they come flying out of turn number 2. Less than a half of a car length separates these two drivers as they climb the banking once again in 3 and 4. 5 laps to go now, this time given by our flagman Barney, as Dakota LaRue continues to try to apply that pressure to Harrison Chandler and that number 29 Autism Awareness Ford Mustang. It is going to be Ford versus Toyota here in the closing laps of this event. Dakota LaRue continuing to try to get on the inside, but he just cannot make it stick. Dakota LaRue once again on the front straightaway will have to settle back behind Harrison Chandler for that top spot. And Chandler just taking up all the real estate he can in the final 4 laps of this event. Here comes Dakota LaRue trying to make it to the inside here once again, as they ride right around the middle to the higher side, but Chandler has that momentum coming out of the corner. 3 laps to go this time by for the Fast Action Racing Series. Neon Lights 101 here at Las Vegas. The gamble so far has paid off for these two drivers, but who is willing to give it more as they tap out of turn number 2? And here comes Dakota LaRue to the inside of Chandler as they go side by side through turns 3 and 4. Our flagman gives up the popsicle sticks as they come across the start finish line. 2 laps remaining for these two drivers side by side. As they dive down into turn number 1, Dakota LaRue gets a better run into the corner, but here comes Chandler back to the outside. Back down the back straightaway, still side by side, heading down into turn number 3. This is going to be really close here for the final lap here, ladies and gentlemen. Barney gives up that white flag. It is the final lap of the Neon Lights 101 here at Las Vegas. Was that all Dakota LaRue can get out of that machine? Or will Harrison Chandler be able to take it home in his first start here with the Fast Action Racing Series as they come out of turn number 2 for the final time? Right now, Harrison Chandler has it. Dakota LaRue wants it. Dakota LaRue full sends down into turn 3 and 4. He is not going to make it stick. Harrison Chandler coming out of turn number 4. LaRue sideways. Ladies and gentlemen, Harrison Chandler, that number 29 Autism Awareness Ford Mustang, will win it here in the Neon Lights 101 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. That was an incredible final 10 laps here for the Fast Action Racing Series drivers, as Dakota LaRue and Harrison Chandler gave it all they got. And near the end, Dan Adkins will bring it home third. And that will probably continue to extend that points lead ever so slightly, as Lucas Edwards fallen back to that number 5 spot. Wow. Let me catch a breath here, ladies and gentlemen. What a race. That was the final 10 laps. Oh my, oh my. Wow, okay. Let me get the number 29. My bad, guys. My bad. Wrong button. Chandler. As he is burning it down on the front straightaway. Let's go ahead and go back just a little bit here, watch these burnouts, and you are just going to see it in reverse because, well, why not? Here we go. And now let's go extremely slow-mo here. And let's go ahead. All right. All right, here we come, ladies and gentlemen. The number 29 rookie first race, first time winner in the Fast Action Racing Series, the number 29 of the Autism Awareness of Florida Mustang, Harrison Chandler. Do you got a copy, sir?
Yeah, I do. My hand hurts so bad. My right arm feels it is in so much pain.
Well, Harrison, I will not keep you that long then, buddy. What an incredible debut it was for you right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You rolled the dice by pitting very early on in the event in that first pit stop, and then you decided not to come back in for more tires. As we see, that was the right call. How do you feel about winning in your first start here in the Fast Action Racing Series? And what was it like the final 4 laps holding off Dakota LaRue in that number 88 machine?
I mean, it was more like what the last 30 laps. I heart wrenching the entire time. It was uh what through yeah, pretty much the last 30 laps. It was track position is just so important in these cars. They're just so tight that the banking with in the turns really makes the top side so dependent. It is ridiculous. So that was my call. I had to pit early so that I could get in front of whoever the leaders were, and I came in here completely. Oval racing is hard. It's really hard, but it's way worse whenever you've had zero practice. I came in here cold turkey. I had no idea how it would react, and it was just the bumps in 1 and 2 are just so over dramatic. They're just unbearable to go through every time. It makes the car was loose enough as it was. It made it even worse. It just made it wanted the car felt like it wanted to kill itself every time it went through 1-2. Um, I I can't believe it. I came in here just looking for any sort of league race to run. This was available. Um, I'll definitely put this league on my calendar for races to run from now on Mondays. Because man, I I was dead focused the whole time. I thought for sure any second he's either gonna pass me, I'm gonna self spin, we're gonna wreck together, just something. I was anticipating something to go wrong. I and I oh my god, dude, I'm so exhausted. My whole right as soon as I stopped, I crossed that start finish. The moment I brought up my right hand to finally relax, my whole right arm, the entire right arm was in really fatigued shape. It was so sore.
Oh man, it was
Um,
it was possibly just absolutely dead to the world. Well, today, Harrison, I'm not going to keep you much longer, buddy. You were able to hold off some of the strongest competitors here in Fast Action Racing Series, especially that of Dakota LaRue. You denied him his second victory this season. You got your first. We're looking forward to seeing you next week when we come to Homestead, Miami in the NASCAR trucks. So,
ooh, nice.
oh yeah. And then next season, whenever they announce that this series will be going over to the ARCA series cars, So that is going to be an incredible start for them as well. We look forward to seeing you next week, Harrison. Hopefully, you'll join us for season 2 of the Fast Action Racing Series right here on the iCast Racing Network. Congratulations on your victory, on your debut run. I'll let you go and get celebrating.
I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who has and will believe in me. Believe in me, past, present, future. My parents for giving me all the necessary equipment, my PC, my rig, maybe even my keyboard, everything. It just the last almost the last 4 years now have been complete mental hell for me. During these long races, I contemplate to myself, should I stop, because I fog out. I become really bad. I become very anxious inside. But appreciate. Thank you. Um, Love and memory of my dogs, Lovey and Tank. 2 years ago, 2 years and a half for Lovey, 2 years almost exactly for Tank. I I'm you know I'm I got autism, Tourette's, OCD, intermittent seizure disorder, generalized anxiety. Who else? Who else knows? So it's real. It's very it's very meaningful to be able to continue every day fighting, and something like this is a massive dopamine hit for all the negativity that usually happens during the days. This is a fresh, warm welcome. I can't believe it. Yes.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, the number 29, Harrison Chandler, first victory right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and get your throne back up. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's drag down your second place finisher, Dakota LaRue, and that number 88, Grease Monkey Motorsports. Toyota Supra, Dakota. You threw everything you had at Harrison. What were you going to have to do to get around him?
Well, I was under the impression he'd hit lap 25, and come to find out he didn't, so I was just trying to worry about putting a gap between me and people behind me, or I would have drove that a lot different.
I got you there. The last, 15, 20 laps, especially the final 5, were an absolute blast to watch. You trying your best every which way to get around him. And in that process, you guys were actually pulling away from Dan Atkins and Lucas Edwards until something happened with Lucas near the end. I want to go speak with him next. But what were your thoughts? Like the final couple laps. I saw that you gave him a couple love taps heading into turn 3. Were you trying to just rattle his cage, or what was your
It was more of
mindset?
I was just trying to carry more speed into the corner. If I wanted to bump around him, I would just move him out of my way. He was racing me respectfully, and I was trying to race him respectfully. But you get a little bit of draft, and you kind of trying to go into the corner a little harder and stuff like that. It's a little bumps, just love taps. It ain't nothing like a bump around.
Right. Yeah, all I am saying is, Dakota, even though you were denied once again that second victory, that must have been a victory in itself, because it's been a very long while since we've seen a really good, entertaining race like that, and it come down, just to that final couple laps. What are your thoughts about that? And now, what are your thoughts as you gained a little bit more spots up, or points on on Dan and Lucas both? What's your thoughts heading into Homestead?
My thoughts are, I'm pretty sure Dan's just got it on lock as long as he gets a decent finish. He doesn't really have to win or anything. And the final few laps was fun. I appreciate him for racing me clean, and I tried my best to race him clean. Overall, it was a good race, and that's about it.
Alrighty, Dakota, thank you so much for your time, buddy. Let me go and throw you back up. And let's go ahead and bring down Lucas Edwards, second in points. Lucas, you had an up and down day, and unfortunately, it ended up being in fifth for you, I believe. What happened there on the last couple of laps that caused you to fall back behind Kian?
I ran out of fuel on the final lap. I thought I had enough.
Oh no!
I
As
ran
I
out of fuel coming out of 2.
Oh man. And as I was saying, with like 4 laps to go, it's going to get tight on tires and fuel and mental and everything. It was just an incredible race all around. You did dominate or very early on, and then you started to slip right before that first pit stop. Do you think you just used up your equipment way too early in the run, or do you think they were just
As
able to
the
save
track
more?
as the track changed, it got tighter, and I'm not a big fan of the tighter feel on the car. It wasn't slick anymore, so yeah, I think they were just able to save it a little bit better. I've never been able to save tires on a tight car, so
I
yeah.
got I got you. Once we get the final say in the points here leading into next week in Homestead, what are your thoughts heading into Homestead, and what do you think it's going to take for you to get on top of that leaderboard leaving Homestead?
I think it's gonna happen. I think Dan locked it tonight. With when I fell that position back, I had a few bonus points there, but finishing 2 positions behind him, I think locks it.
I mean
So yeah,
that is a very possible, and that's something that we are not wanting to see happy. We want to see you both possibly, duke it out next week. But do you have anything you want to add before I send you back up?
yeah. I'm sure I had some friends watching tonight. I'd like to thank them. One of them did help me make my truck last week, so that was very nice. Uh, yeah, I curious on what those points will be, so we can see if we have a shot next week.
Absolutely. And as soon as I get access to those points, I am going to be doing everything in my power to figure out what you need to do, uh what Dan needs to do, and hopefully by the middle of next week we can figure all that out, and then we can look forward to a great race next week. So thank you so much for joining us today here, Lucas. We will see you next week in Homestead. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take a look at our final results right here for the Fast Action Racing Series Neon Lights 101, presented by Logan's Removal Solutions, right here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. On top of the points, or on top of the results for today, is newcomer Harrison Chandler in that number 29 Autism Awareness vehicle. He came out and he put on a dominant show in the final portion of this race. Coming home second was Dakota LaRue in that number 88 Grease Monkey Motorsports machine, followed by Dan Atkins, your current points leader in that number 91 machine. Kian Fry in that number 14 machine. He was able to sneak up into that fourth position. Lucas Edwards, as you heard, he lost. Uh, he ran out of fuel out of turn 2 on the final lap, dropped him back down to fifth. Joseph Nielsen in that number 54 making his debut as well. here he will bring it home 6. Jordan Martin in that number 13 machine will bring it home 7th. Jacob Van in that number 1 machine will bring it home 8th. And Jake Lucas will round out your field in that number 71 machine in that number 9th position. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us right here on the iCast Racing Network. We look forward to seeing you next week for the season finale of the Fast Action Racing Series right here on the iCast Racing Network. And until then, happy time zones. See you next week.
This has been a production of the iCast Racing Network powered by iRacing. Thank you for your continued support. Don't forget to like and subscribe for notifications for all of our live events right here on YouTube and Twitch. We would like to thank SDK Gaming for their production overlays that makes this event enjoyable. Until next time, happy time zones.